A lot of me is, you know, dirty fingernails and and the part that actually does it from the ground up.
I've always wanted to grow my own food, enough for me, and then hopefully actually make a living out of it.
Well, we got into food production because of my wife, who thought that it was more healthy to grow our own food, and she had some control over what we were eating. So.
Well, that's kind of a surprise to me, but I just come from a long line of farmers, and it was part of my background to grow as much as you could in the city lot, and then I just carried on doing that.
We moved up here, we took the forest, we made a farm, we immediately put in fruit trees, and it was more, let's feed ourselves, and then, okay, now we're feeding more than ourselves. Okay, we're doing this pretty well, let's just, you know, let's see how many people we can feed.
My role as being fortunate enough to actually be on land like this is to be the provider. Of course, not everyone is going to be a farmer and have the opportunity to be on land like this, but then they can provide things, other things for me. So I'm just kind of a small part of the larger picture, really. I provide something for them, and then the rest of the community takes care of me.
When we started doing this, the first people we got to know on the island, almost the first, our friends became people who were buying food from us. And they'd come and buy food and talk, chat, and you know, we got to know people. And so that's a big plus, is getting to know local people.
My customers are all pretty well known to me. I know them, we have a relationship. They're getting more than just food. They're getting, you know, my spirit.
People come into our garden and they graze on the kale and lettuce just without doing anything to it, don't even cook it, you know, that sort of thing. And being able to rely on that day in and day out gives us a feeling of security.
Food security is just providing for yourself, making sure that you have the seed to put into the ground from year to year, that you have enough for yourself to eat, and then kind of in a larger sense, there's the community and sustaining the local community.
I think most of us will look for the cheap food, the inexpensive food, and the perfect food. But you know that if you're buying something really inexpensive, you've exploited somebody along the way.
We got everybody else feeding us. I mean, to say it in too large a generalization, but the rest of the world is really feeding us. We want our jet fresh papaya 24/7.
We can't be importing our food needs from Southern California and Chile. You have to think locally. You have to, you know, pay that extra 50 cents for your produce, pay that extra $1 to make sure that it does come from this local area, and that you're supporting the people here that are producing, because one day, you know, what if you can't get your oranges from Chile?
I am a label detective. I look at labels when I go to shop. I put out a certain amount of interest to the retailers when I do not find what I want, because they can change.
I see the fact that in order to have sustainable food production on the West Coast or anywhere in the world, we have to have the political will to support that and change our diets, perhaps, to be willing to give up avocados and to be willing to eat more beets, carrots, and parsnips in the wintertime.
But I can't feed a whole city. But we could take the idea of this farm and transplanted down the road. So, I mean, it could be done over and over and over again. People would have to work hard. It's very hard work. But it could be done.
And the solutions really need to happen in the city. That's where the important gardening needs to happen, because that's where the people are. I know there are community gardens, and I know there are people doing, you know, very intensive backyard gardens, and but I think there's huge potential for more of that.
I work with a lot of people from the city that come for weekends, and you know, we talk about, I just go, you know, you're on the 16th floor, get a bag of soil and plant something. It fulfills something. You know, that's important. Get down and get dirty.